The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
Hold up, hashtag heels for life. Wanna welcome everybody, yeah, we gotta get it hype. Hey, every week talking wrestling, we get into it. Current events, even guests that we're interviewing. Hosted by Chris, Kid USA, and Nappy Boy. Shout out to Ziggy, put the smack down, you can't ignore. The best you gon' find anywhere online. Tell the competition they about to get clothesline. Hold up, hashtag heels for life. Let's go.
Welcome to hashtag Hill Podcast, episode 190. I'm your host, Mr. Team Bring It, aka Mr. Disrespectful, aka Sugar Nips, aka the Fat Man, aka Wildcard. How you doing?
And I am DJ Red Flags, the hill that you love to hate. What's going on, Chris?
What is going on? So, everyone, we have a big show for you guys. We are bringing in a wrestler from AEW Dark. As a matter of fact, my co-host decided to introduce me to Mr. Singh. This research on him, he only been in the business for, I think, about 3 years, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, very impressive. We're going to give you guys an introduction about him before we bring him on. And then we're going to tear him down question by question by question by question. Yes, but yes, we're going to have fun.
And this is somebody that I personally know too, so this is awesome.
So, it's a historic night for all of us. I'm just here for the comments, everybody. But before we start, first what I need you to do is hit that thumbs up and comment on this video. Then I need you to subscribe on YouTube, and I need you to hit that notification bell so you can get news and rumors from hashtag Life on YouTube and on Facebook. All right, so Terrell, so yes. How long have you met or how long have you known Cobra Singh?
I know Cobra since roughly 2014.
Okay, so that's roughly about 7-8 years, something like that.
Yes, sir. And this is also big, but this is his first podcast interview.
Now, when you told me that, I'm like, oh shit, I'm nervous as fuck. Oh my God. And that reminds you, anytime I do interviews with somebody new, I get like almost shy, but then, once we get more into the interview, I'm like, okay, all right, this man is cool. He's cool. But no, me and Singh, aka Jamal, we talked offline. So he's a really cool cat. And he told me a lot about the business so far, his journey so far. So I'm really excited on bringing him on. So without further ado, Mr. Cobra Singh.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on. Good to you. Good, Mr. Team Bring It.
What's up, brother? What's going on? Well, number one, it is an honor to have you on the show, especially someone that is getting started in the wrestling business. You've been around for a little bit, and seeing you on AEW Dark looks like you're doing some big things. But yeah, tonight this is about you, my brother. So what we're gonna do is first we're gonna dissect the video that I think you had an interview on ABC, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was on ABC. It was in Jacksonville, right?
In Gainesville, yeah.
In Janesville. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch that video, and then we're going to ask you series of questions and start this interview. All right, y'all. We'll be right back.
I go out through that curtain. I don't feel like I'm Jamal anymore. I really feel like I am Cobra. I'm somebody else.
2 years ago, Jamal Hans started his wrestling career in Ocala at the Funkin' Conservatory School.
When I first got into this business, I thought, this is maybe something you can master in a year. But very quickly, I realized that is not the case.
Since then, Hans attended 3 more training centers in his quest to become a professional wrestler.
If anybody is 3 years into this business and they tell you they've mastered it, that person is lying. I'm still what we call green. You know, I haven't learned everything, and I don't know if I ever will.
Han's latest stop is at Top Rope Wrestling Academy in Jacksonville, where he's elevated his game over the past year.
The physical training sessions that we have here and the drills that we do are harder than any other place I've been at, but they're also the drills that have helped me improve the most.
In that time, Hans performed at nearly 400 shows.
For somebody to train in Atlanta, come here and do steady shows, and I mean, he basically was up 24, 36 hours with no sleep. He has more drive than most people I see come through the door.
Now, all his hard work is about to pay off. Hans will make his professional debut for All Elite Wrestling in Orlando Saturday afternoon.
This has been a big goal of mine. This is a good step forward, and it's me getting a foot in the door with one of the biggest companies on the planet.
And Turner believes this is just the beginning of big things for the 35-year-old.
Jamal is one of those that no matter what he does, he's already successful in this business because he's helped others, he's learned a lot, and he's improved. So if he stays on that track, he's definitely going to make it.
Hans will step into the ring and realize his dream at 2 p.m. tomorrow at Universal Studios. Chris Pensem, TV 20 Sports.
All right. So
Wow. I goosebumps for me because I've known this man for years, and just to see somebody that is to hang with, chill with, go to hip hop shows with, this all over softball fields, you know what I mean? Like, just to see you finding your niche and climbing and working to something that's a dream. People are dreaming about this, and you're living this dream, especially at this age. At this age,
I appreciate it. I think we all kind of did, man. We all kind of came from a group of impressive people, man. You know,
our circle.
So I'm proud to be a part of that group. But yeah, definitely.
And so you guys met in Wyoming, correct?
Yes, Casper,
Okay.
Wyoming.
Okay.
Casper, Wyoming.
How did you? Because you're originally from. Are you originally from New York?
Yeah, I'm originally from Queens, New York, and he is from New York too. So we connected off that. First time I ever met him, he was DJing at I think it's the Moonlight in Casper, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yes, sir.
And I would be over there in pool, and I'd be like, "Hey, man, can you throw a song on for me real quick?" And he was one of those nice dudes who would actually, you know, take the $10 and play my song. But I picked a decent one, I would hope, you know.
Yeah, man.
That is amazing. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
All right. So, let's ask you the first question. Who or what inspired you to become a professional wrestler?
Man, I would like to say what everybody else in this business says. It's like, oh, since I was a little kid, I knew this is what I wanted to be, yada, 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 and I do that. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it was kind of weird because, like, I grew up watching wrestling as a kid, and I loved Hogan and Warrior and Sting and all that, the Attitude Era. I had all the toys. I had all the video games, especially. But then, like, high school came around, and I quit watching wrestling. You know, I was busy, you know, talking and trying to chase girls and, you know, getting to whatnot. And, like, and then the idea didn't come back around again until I had graduated college, and we were in Casper. Actually, I graduated from Torrington, Eastern Wyoming College. I spent a lot of time in Torrington and then a lot of time in Casper. My parents now moved from Torrington to Casper, so when I go back to Thanksgiving, I'll be able to chill with you guys and stuff. I'll be able to chill with you guys. Wisconsin, that's next on the list, man.
If you ever come, look me up. Not hard to find, trust me. So what steps did you take mentally, physically, spiritually to start your journey to become a wrestler?
Well, that's the thing. The next part was like I graduated college, and I was trying to do some entrepreneurial things. I had a party bus limousine service, and
We're gonna get into that, but since you brought it up,
I remember that. I vividly remember that.
I tried a few different businesses, and like I knew being behind a desk wasn't really for me. And I was 32 years old, and my brother and my dad, they're big into school, man. They're both doctors. My dad's been the doctor, the head psychiatrist of the prison system of Wyoming State, of all the prisons, last 15 years, you know? And now my brother just recently graduated doctor, so they were just brainiacs, man. And I had a little bit, and I had enough to, you know, up here to graduate college, but like physically, I was out of the group was a little more benefited when it came to bodybuilding. They were both bodybuilders, so I grew up with this bodybuilding background. I had a little bit of love for pro wrestling, and another thing is I was acting at the time. I actually did a play in Casper, Wyoming. I forget the name. I think it's like something like Sasha, Mava, something, and Spike. It's weird, but I had dabbled in community theater, so I had this bodybuilding background, and then I had this acting background, and I kind of put two and two together. I was like, man, I'm 32 years old. I still got it. If I'm going to do it, I can't wait any longer. I got to go now. And in 2019, I made the decision to move down to Florida, which is like the mecca of pro wrestling, basically. And I decided to move to Ocala to train with Dory Funk Jr., and that was my first coach.
Cool. So you know, during our talks, you mentioned about your father supporting you. So my next question to you is, how is your support system? You know, friends, family, co-workers, do they support you in your wrestling?
It's crazy, like, advanced, because like I have my dad and my brother who are both doctors and former bodybuilders, and so like they have the best fitness techniques. The way that I eat is like all macro counted, and I just heat stuff up and chew, and like I'm pretty much their guinea pig in a way. And then I got my best friend. Well, my promoter's gonna kick my ass because I'm breaking a little kayfabe here, but my arch nemesis, Bryce Maddox, Joel Morris, he's the other part of that, you know, because we push each other further. He has this natural athleticism. I met him at Dory Funk Jr.'s too, and he was a D1 football player here for Jacksonville University. He was just this big, stocky, cornbread white boy. He came into the doors, and it was me at Dory Funk, and it was like a 15-year-old and like this 40-year-old rep, and that was it. And he walked, and at first when he walked in, I wasn't there, and he was like, him and his dad were like, I don't know if this is the place. And then I walked in, and they're like, all right, wait a second, this guy, he might know how to help him. And I helped him physically, you know. I don't want to toot my own horn, but like, if you look at the shape that he's in now, he's going to get there either way, but like, I'm just so proud of the guy, and he constantly pushes me. And so then I have that, and then I have my all my coaches and trainers. So I got blessed, you know. Like with me, it really takes a village. You know, I think a lot of people say that, but with me, it's definitely true. Because as long as I stay on course, things have been going good, you know, and I'm blessed for that.
So with your start, let's go through your first exact. Did we lose you?
All right, we still.
Yeah.
Nope, we got you now.
Yeah. So let's talk about.
Trying to call me right there. I had to decline.
Let's talk about your first day in the ring, your first bump. Yeah. How did that feel? Walk us through that.
It hurts more than you think, especially Dory's ring, the old WCW Thunder ring. And
oh wow.
rickety. There's history behind it too. It's not as fancy as some of the newer rings. So that was one thing that Dory always said. He was like, if you can bump on this ring, you can bump in any ring. And yeah, man. But then it gets to a point where you start to like it, and you start to know when they feel right, and like that's a whole different conversation. But yeah, it's not bouncing on a trampoline. It's as y'all know, it's a wonderful sport. When done properly, everything goes right. But when mistakes are made, things can go terribly bad at the same time, and that's why we love the sport. But at the same time, I'm also blessed to say that I've never injured anybody in this ring. Knock on wood. I am not.
All right, so basically, right now, you're not a Goldberg.
I'm not a what?
You're not a Goldberg. You actually care about the opponent that you are in the ring with.
Yeah, Goldberg in hitting, I was watching something the other about the Hitman and Shawn Michaels. Yeah.
Your first time running the ropes, your first time hitting the ropes, right? Because that drill that they do, that hitting the ropes.
Yep.
At what part, at any time, did you think, you know what, maybe I bit too much off?
That's the thing, because when you're a little kid and you play in those toy rings, you think that like they're gonna be bouncy and feel all good. No, there's metal wire under there, and it hurts. That's like Dory would make us take them. Like each pro wrestling teacher that I've been with, they all have a little different technique. Dory would say hit the ropes and kind of like put your side into it, and like I got like nothing but muscle there, and you hit them hard enough, and like it hurt. You even get little bruises and stuff. But now it's like my body's like adjusted to it, and but now I don't hit it on the side anymore because the Nightmare Factory switched it up and had me go straight back. But
talking about the Nightmare Factory,
yeah,
Chris and I are huge fans of we call him Reverend Cody Rhodes.
Oh yeah.
The reason why we call him Reverend Cody Rhodes is because we feel like he ended racism. And and so, have you had a chance to actually talk to Reverend Rhodes?
Oh yeah, man.
Can you talk to us about that?
Yes, I remember my first promo night with Cody Rhodes. It was at the Nightmare Factory. It might have been like 2 weeks in, I think. And they're like, okay, you go into this room, and it's Cody Rhodes, QT Marshall, like Jada Cargill, Nick Camarado, I think, or like Luke Hansen, just a bunch of people who are on TV and like on national TV getting paid for real. Like it was kind of intimidating, because I'm here off the indies and stuff. And I go in there, and they're just really supportive, And Cody is the nicest guy, and is genuine. You know how like, especially with some faces in the biz, like they're behind the scenes ego. He got none of that, man. Like,
oh, service is nervous. Oh, no. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we're expecting a little. Oh, there we go.
There you go.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if they caught that last part, but like they were completely supportive, and Cody is the nicest guy. I think different coaches have different, things that they're good at, but he is optimism, and he really helps these kids believe in themselves. And when I got in there, he was like, man, you got the look. And QT was like, you got the look. If you can wrestle even a little bit, you might, is what he said, even a little bit, you might got a decent shot at this thing. And I was like, man, I like to think that I can wrestle a little bit, but we're going to make it a little bit more here after the next, 10 weeks. I was there for 12 weeks. And everybody was cool. Everybody was super respectful. It's intense though. I'm not gonna lie, man. Like I trained at 3 different places. I trained at Dory Funk Juniors originally, legend. He helped at the dojo who got all those guys into the WWE. Like I think like 50 guys into the WWE over those years, and it was Dr. Tom Pritchard with him. And then next after that, I went to train with Dr. Tom Pritchard, and I did his camp. He has JPWA with Kane over there in Knoxville. And then the third place I trained at was the Nightmare Factory. And all of them kind of had, like, Dory taught me the beginning, he taught me the fundamentals, he was very technical. Then Dr. Tom, I noticed, he was more the psychology. He helped to grasp more of the match planning and, like, you know what I mean? And then the Nightmare Factory, especially being the last stop, was like, okay, you know all these things now. Let's see you execute it, and let's step up the pressure a little bit. Let's take it real serious. And it's not like it wasn't too. We have fun there, But at the same time, like I've never been pushed further, like as a group at any other place like the Nightmare Factory, and it shows, But I'm grateful for all of them, and the way that I did it, I think was super beneficial. And I think I don't think there was really a better dream team than that,
Okay. With your training and whatnot, and you doing the indie scene,
yeah.
Do you feel that with your culture and how you brought up in your culture, do you feel that you have to work harder than other people in other ethnic groups? Because I know it is a deep question, because Chris and I discussed in other podcasts that we feel that most companies do not appreciate their African American wrestlers. They don't utilize them the right way. With your culture and whatnot, do you feel that most promotions overlook you guys, or do you guys feel like you have to work 3 times harder than everybody else?
Now, with your culture and everything, you guys know how that goes. I can never assume the feelings and the adversity that you guys have had to go through. But with my culture, to be honest with you, no, not at all. In fact, I think it's a benefit and easier. I don't want to say easier at all, because none of this is easy. But the thing about my culture is I'm from an area in Punjab, India, the northern part, where we bred wrestlers on the other side of the world. We can get into the historical side about it, but they were doing a similar thing in the dirt back in India a long time ago, and they would have these Pehlewan wrestling matches, and in Punjab, and like each village would have their best wrestler, and the way they would wrestle was, if they get on the, they get to it, and then whoever's shoulders, when both shoulders touch the mud, that person loses. There was no 1, 2, 3. And then, like, this became a big thing and became a huge entertainment from that area in India. And then over time, people started thinking, well, hey, what if we fix this match? And then next thing you know, maybe they were kind of doing the same thing. In America, pro wrestling starts from the carnivals, actually. You guys know it starts from the carnies. Like the biggest, tallest man and the freak shows, and then they would have these pro wrestling matches too, and eventually they would fix them, and then it developed into the spectacle it is today, like the Super Bowl, Mania. But on the other side of the world, the Indians were doing that. And so in my culture, originally, the only thing I would say that maybe is kind of, you would get boxed into being the foreign heel. But to be honest with you, I kind of started out as the foreign heel, and I didn't mind it. Like, like it's a traditional thing, and eventually you can be whatever you want to be. You know, you start off and you fill a role in the company, and it's not about you. You know, like Dr. Tom Pritchard would say, I like strawberries, but when I go cast a rope, you know, when I go fishing, I put a worm on the end of the hook. And that's the way we look at pro wrestling. So, but the thing is, right now, India is a huge sought out demographic because they have 1.5 billion people, and that is they're just beginning to get started over there. So I feel like the WWE and AEW both are like fighting to get a piece of that pie, and I'm glad that like I could be around and in this time. If anybody wants to sign a check, you know, I'll take one.
So like with
But
wrestlers,
I think it's honestly harder right now for white dudes like my best friend Joel, because like he's 6'1", built, blonde, white dude from Melbourne, Florida. Like there's thousands of them. Like and they have to compete so hard. And these are all the people like that I love on the independent scene. But like, so it's not, I do honestly feel like my ethnicity is kind of an advantage right now, and especially because I'm half white. You know, like I can't speak the language, but if you look at Roman Reigns, he couldn't speak the language. You know, whatever, you know, Samoan language fluently because he's half white. You know, and he's
Roman Reigns is half white.
And because we grew up in America. I mean, bottom line is we're American.
Oh wow.
Wow,
You
I did not know that.
I didn't know that he was half white. I did not know that. I thought he was just like full blown Samoan. I didn't know that.
It's his culture. His mom is white, and it's their culture. You know, just because I can't speak fluently doesn't mean that I'm any less of a Sikh or a Punjabi. You know what I mean? I love my culture. I've been to my Sandia 3 times. We got a sugarcane farm down there with water buffalo. It's great, man. And I can speak enough. I can speak like Thorda means a little bit. I can say Sasrikalaji, Ihalavia, Tiga, which is like, hey, how you doing? Good to meet you. You know, stuff like that. When I go to India, I know enough of the language where I can survive on my own. You know, I can find the bathroom, I can get food, stuff like that. So and it's like if they get me a script and a catchphrase, like I can fulfill that role. But some Indians are like, he should speak the full language. But I kind of see their point too. But you know, I'm gonna keep learning. I'm gonna keep studying.
So with Chris. So with wrestlers like the Great Khali, Jinder Mahal, and are those guys that you look up to, like like as in like in your career, or does like when you originally started, are those guys that you kind of like looked up to growing up, or just looked up to now?
Oh yeah, we did, man. We were Indian kids and queens with our eyes glued to the television set and giant Khali, you know. Waves, and that was during such a great time, you know. We were happy to see that representation for us, and we always have, you know. The funny thing is, like, even in my village in India, if I make it into the WWE, I'm not the first person from that village to make it into the WWE because Tiger G is from that village, and so is Tiger Jr. And you know what I mean? And so like, and that's another thing too. I know Tiger G's thing. He's on my social media, very supportive, and my name is kind of a homage to him because like we're not blood related, but we really pay respect to that. And he was Tiger Singh, and so I thought, well, what am I gonna name myself? And my name's Jamal Khan, so I was like, I'm gonna be Cobra Singh. You know, it's another identifiable animal that we're proud of. And now you got so many, you know, great guys too. I was at Dark a few weeks back, and We had Jora Joel, you know, he's a great Indian wrestler for AEW, and Rohit, you know, they're doing good now. And they got Satnam Singh. I was at a Nightmare Factory with Satnam Singh.
Mm-hmm.
That guy is crazy, man. That guy is 7'4". I think the best body of any of the Giants, maybe so far, you know, especially when he takes that suit off, like he's jacked, man, and he can move, you know, and he's a really, really nice dude. I don't want to break too much kayfabe because he's a heel, you know, he's the mean mamma jamma, you know, but yeah, man, I'm really proud of my culture and where we're at in the business, man.
Okay. So I want to get back into your training. So according to your interview with ABC WCJB, you competed in almost 400 shows, sometimes trained 24 to 36 hours without sleep. How are you able to put that all together under torturous conditions?
Man, I'm on 4 hours of sleep right now.
See?
The thing is, like, since I was a young kid, I struggle with insomnia anyway because my mind is always going. And then I was working for the Nightmare Factory, and then I was also, while I was there for 12 weeks in Atlanta, I was wrestling every weekend for Tennessee Championship Wrestling. I would drive 5 hours to wrestle in Dixon, Tennessee, Jackson, Tennessee. And then I would also drive down to Jacksonville and wrestle for Continental, and then also wrestle and put together the showcase at the Nightmare Factory. We did showcase at Work Camp 6. That was recently released just a couple of days ago. I haven't posted it yet because there's just been so much kind of news at once. I'm just kind of like spacing things out. And right now I got to plug my fight Saturday. But I will release the showcase footage and everything, the link, so you guys can see not only just my match, but some of the great guys that I was up there with, because there's a lot of talent in that camp.
And you're talking about this one right here, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
There we go.
So Saturday, August 27th, wrestle match.
Sold it out, man. We sold it out last year too. Eagle View Academy. It's a Christian school, so those kids love us, and they get a little edge with us. We don't use any profanity or the Lord's name in vain when we are on the premises, but we still got some entertainment for them, and they love it, man. And then I'm wrestling Big Ben Bishop. And Big Ben Bishop, me and Joel first met him in Tennessee a few years ago. And we were wrestling for a company called USA CW. And it was run by a man named Burt Prentice, who he actually gave me my start in this business. The first televised match I ever did was at his studio, and it was in Tennessee, and it was regional CBS, and it was me versus Joel, because we're arch nemesis, you know. And we met him at the ballpark, and this guy's 7 feet tall. He's, you know, built like a statue, and he was at like one of the booths next to us because we were with Dory and they're signing stuff. And he was at a booth, and I started talking to him, and I was like, "Hey," that was kind of when I was still green. I'm still green, you know. That's one thing. In that ABC interview where I said, "I don't know if I'll ever know anything." No, I know I will never know everything about this business. That is not possible.
Now, why would you say? Why do you say that? Is it like more so a confidence thing, or are you just like just your humble attitude?
Well, you gotta stay humble. I mean, you always want to absorb and improve. If I ever get stagnant and say, "Oh, I've made it," then I should just give up and get out of here. I think this business is constantly evolving too, so there's just so much new stuff that's coming through the pipeline as well.
Yeah, because me and Terrell, we always have conversations. Like, even though we're podcasters, you know, when we do shows like this and on Twitter, even as a wrestling fan, and all the knowledge that we have, we will never know everything about professional wrestling. So, yeah.
I have a question. With all the driving that you've been doing, roughly how many miles is on the Mozzie right now?
Man, the second Mozzie I got, because I wrecked the last one and totaled it last December, it's been in the shop for the last 3 months because I backed it into a gas pump when I was at the Nightmare Factory. And I kind of was going back quick. And there's been a global part shortage right now. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. And so, like, my car, the body work has been done, but it was waiting on a part for the suspension for, like, it's been 3 months. I bought the car. I had the car 6 weeks brand new. And I've been out without it now for 3 months. But nobody will feel sorry for me if I tell them, oh, I got to drive this Lexus instead of my Maserati because I backed it.
I mean, that didn't explode.
First world problems, you know?
I mean, bro, like, you backed it into a gas pump like that. That bitch
I was on my way to the show. That was big. I was on my way to the show and probably only got 5 hours of sleep. And these gas pumps were like parked at an angle, and I was up at one, and it was empty. And I was like, all right. So I just got in my car real quick and just hit reverse, going straight back. But those pumps were not straight. They were like,
oh Lord!
Wow!
Oh my God!
I didn't hit the gas pump. I hit the concrete cylinder block that they used to barricade it. But so yeah, hopefully I get it back in the next few weeks. But so then it's only got 25,000 miles on this one. But this truck I had, my dad's truck, he's been letting me borrow it. I've definitely been putting miles on it. I feel bad. I've been running to the ground. Somebody actually broke a window out of it a few weeks ago. I'm a bouncer at a bar down here, and I left my car there, and it was broken. I think it was I had to call the cops. I think it was just like a random act of
stupidity,
vandalism. I don't think there's anybody that I like denied entry to the club that would like hate me enough to go break out my window. Because I'm not mean, man. I'm the nicest guy when it comes to that business too. But yeah, that's what I do as my shoot job on the weekends. I do it like two nights a week, 3 nights a week, and I enjoy doing it. You know, I like working at the club instead of spending a bunch of money and getting drunk. I'm making money, and I still get the social experience. So yeah, I do that while I wrestle too.
So you mentioned about your security / bouncer bodybuilding background. So can you tell us more about that and how it fit into your wrestling style?
Yeah, man, a wrestler being a bouncer and a bodybuilder. There's a long line of us, you know. I think it's got whenever I think of bouncers and pro wrestlers, you know. And actually, I was taught by Dory Funk Jr. and his brother Terry played a bouncer in Roadhouse, or he might have been a drunk patron. Actually, I'm not sure, but he was in Roadhouse where Patrick Swayze was the bouncer. And
wow,
I
did not know that.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Yeah, if you want to go back and watch that.
I think I am. I am.
I'm about to consider and see if I can find good old Chainsaw Charlie out there.
Right.
But no, I enjoy it. And the bodybuilding, that was something I started since I was real young, to be honest with you. since my father, my older brother, and also my older cousin, Michael, on my mom's side, helped me since I was 14 to start bodybuilding. And it was like, you bodybuild whether you want to or not. But
that's what's
no,
up.
I loved it. And it became, there was a point where like I was thinking about doing it competitively, but I just felt like, to be honest, I don't think it's harder to make money in that business even, and even in my business, it's a, long shot. But in that business, it's even a longer shot, I feel like. And also, there wasn't as much creativity. Like, I didn't want to be standing behind a stage comparing calves to the next guy who wanted to I'd rather be in the ring being a fool,
Yeah.
So you don't want to be, so just by the conversation and your vibe, you don't want to be the next Batista, because when I look at you, like
I told you,
you have Batista vibes.
Well, that's the
Like,
thing,
you
too.
really do.
Me and T.O. knew some great bodybuilders in Wyoming. They're all my friends. Luis
Our circle.
Ricky Marin, he's out in Vegas. He's competed, I think, at Olympia. He's
I think he
made,
did.
Yeah.
Did he place? Did he place?
Huh?
Did he
I'm
place?
not sure. I know that he's been competitive for a long time, though, and he's been doing great. And that guy's body is, I like to think I got a good body, but that man. And also our friend Nick, and we would hang out with Kai Cannon too, the pro boxer out there.
Shout out to the Great White Hope.
Yeah,
Great White Hope.
Yeah.
That's the thing, man. Like, that dude was on HBO. Like, this little group of friends that we got, man. We were hardworking dudes, man.
But your ups and downs, because everybody goes up through their ups and downs. One thing I always admired about you, that you never let the lows hinder you for the next step up. And even when you're transitioning to other businesses, you never let that hinder you. So do you look back at those times as more motivation now to push yourself? Like, you push yourself harder now than you did back then?
It's a great question, man. Because I feel like my motivation, I kind of had to learn things the hard way. I've always been like that. I got to get knocked down before I, pick myself up again. But each time I do, I've been able to work harder and reach another step, but you learn from these experiences. I feel like everything I did up until 2019, when I came out here, it was all preparing me to become a pro wrestler in some weird way. And I didn't know it yet, but looking back at it, like, all of it has helped me. Everything I did, even the acting with the crowds, being in front of people, it's all helped. And I feel like there's two ways we use energy and motivation, and one is from a dark place where we want to prove people wrong, people who didn't believe in us, maybe they doubted us, or maybe people who left us, things like that, just sitting there alone. That motivation was very powerful for me. But then you also have this other energy, which is the real energy, the better energy, which is you got to do this stuff because you love yourself, because you want to do it, because you deserve it. But there's always, you juggle those two. And if you juggle them right, you might get there to the top, or at least, reach a potential that you might not have ever seen. And that's how I feel.
T.O., or did you?
Yeah, no. So let's go into real quick, we won't dive too deep into it, but Dory's gym. All right.
Yeah.
What was your experience there?
Man, when you get into when I got to Dory's gym, he's distinguished now, and he's a former NWA 4-time champion, one of the longest running NWA champions. And I get down there, and he's got his cowboy hat on,
and the bullwhip.
He got his bullwhip. He got his jumpsuit. He's like, hey, kid, good to meet you. But he didn't say kid, but he said, hey, Jamal, it's good to meet you. Back then, I didn't have the Cobra moniker. But he didn't always say a lot, but everything he did say, you took, and you listened, you absorbed. Mm-hmm. He was a very technical teacher. If you watch, like, him and Jack Briscoe and how they used to wrestle, it was ahead of their time because they were so fluid with their motions when they're chain wrestling, and they would have, crowds, huge crowds. And he's from Amarillo, Texas. He is the real deal. He is the Bronco, and the Texas Bronco. And then his brother, a legend. I never met his brother. Always wanted to. Never did. But we went down there. He's got a projector. He's got a pretty nice setup. And it's in Ocala. It's a smaller town. But it was the perfect place for me to start and get my first grasp on this business.
So I got a question for you. I want to kind of steer away from, some things that, me and you talked about, but I want to kind of dive into the wrestling business industry itself. Now, a lot of people believe that, that the wrestling industry is the brotherhood, and that might be the truth. But there's also some controversies that be going on behind closed doors. Have you ever been exposed to some of those controversies?
Since I've been in the business?
Mm-hmm.
No, I've steered clear of any controversy. Thank God. Surprisingly, yeah. No,
because it seems like it's really hard to kind of get away from that. Like, in music, in order for you to get to the top, you gotta do, controversial things. You know what I'm saying? And like we've heard like horror stories in the WWE, horror stories in WCW, ECW. So it's like, when you're coming into the business, it's like I mean, I'm hearing all of these horror stories from all these different companies, and what happened if I'm exposed to that? Like, what would I do about that? And that's why I was kind of like going over the questions. I was just like, man, should I even ask him this? Like, I don't know if I should ask him that. I don't want to like put him on the spot. So that's why I asked you about have you been put in those situations?
It's a valid question, but no. I've been blessed that I've been able to stay away from any of those situations. I had the best trainers. I think pro wrestling is a business that's a roller coaster of emotion. And you have days that are great, your match went perfect. You get home to the hotel and you just have this great feeling. I can't explain the feeling. But then there's also the opposite end of that. When you go home, or you go to a cheap hotel in Tennessee after you had a match in front of 30 people that was just garbage, and you're sitting there by yourself in some Econo Lodge drinking a beer, and you're like, maybe I should get a real job or something, but and that's the opposite end. But you gotta stick through that. And the only controversy I got is I think sometimes I show up late to training and stuff like that. But I'm always there for my matches and when it counts, you know. So I mean, my best area too.
So you haven't like there are times, because like these are one of the stories that I've heard. Like you get gypped for like saying, hey, if you wrestle for this amount of time, I have to charge you this amount of dollars, or if you know, you're gonna have to buy your own equipment or whatever. Like you have never went through anything like that in your life. Because like I said, I wanted to be a wrestler, and I was hearing all of these stories that my friends were telling me, and I'm just like, do I really need to go through that bullshit? You know, and it's just you know, when I interview wrestlers, like I always want to kind of, you know, I want to get their story, and then I can always like, you know, draw my own conclusion. So like
I think like a lot of times when you start off at a promotion or a school, they won't want you to train like within 50 miles of that city, and if you do, they might try, you know, they won't be happy, or maybe they might have some paperwork drawn up, but I really doubt any, like, I don't know. I don't even know if any of the papers I signed are real. I know. I
mean, bro, like sometimes you have to read this shit. Like, is this actually legit? You know,
$5,000 for a lawyer retainer. You know, you better be something. You know, if somebody gets mad that I'm performing in Palatka, Florida, go ahead and sue me.
Right.
So, you know, one thing is this. Continental Championship Wrestling is an independent company that me and Bryce Maddox wrestle for, Cody Knight, Odin Davenport, some of the best wrestlers. Tommy Bear Boulder from AEW trains with us. He actually has been leading and teaching a lot of the classes now. And Vicky Dreamboat, she's also a Nightmare Factory AEW Dark several-time alumni from the factory. She's there now too. And I had met her actually at the Nightmare Factory, and she was like, hey, I live in Jacksonville. You know, or somewhere cool to train. And I was like, well, you can come train with me and the boys at Continental, but we don't have no girls. And she was like, that's perfect. That girl works hard, man. She's tough as nails. And now we got a women's division in the company. But this company I am exclusive to in a certain way. Because one thing that I told Chris Turner, he's the promoter, and he's also my mentor. He's also a wrestler and one of my tag partners. We are in a stable called the Brotherhood together, and he runs the place. And when me and Joel first left Dory's, we were looking for a place to wrestle, and we went to Jacksonville and we found Turner, and Turner was like, you could train here for free and we'll get this thing going, and I believe in you. Just do me a favor and don't wrestle for another independent company in Jacksonville. If it's AEW, if it's WWE, fine, of course. If it's Ring of Honor, you know, any of those companies, sure. But if it's another independent company, then we want you to remain exclusive in this territory, because he believes that's really what kind of separates us from the other shows. Because a lot of the other independent shows, there's a bunch of the guys from the indie scenes who I all know and love, but they're cycling through, right? So like that becomes kind of a show where it doesn't feel like a complete program because it's so varied each week. With us, we have a lot of wrestlers that are exclusive. You're only going to see me here in Jacksonville. You're only going to see Joel here, Cody, DJ. But at the same time, we did wrestle for our rival company. And when I say rival, that's a real loose term because I did wrestle for USWA in Jacksonville. They're the next company that's big in town. And it's owned by a woman named Ella, and she gave me and Joel, actually, our first match in Jacksonville was with them. And Chris was there too. Chris knows the owner of that company. They have a long history, and there's nothing but respect. It's a mutual thing. And all the other guys over there on their roster who kind of, stick to that side, like, we know them too. And, like, I don't want to say it, but they're all cool guys. We really like them, But, like, but we're the better company. We'll kick their asses, and I'll tell that to their face. They got a bunch of great guys over there. They got Storm. They got John Davis. Bunch of great guys. So, but I honestly would love, what I would like to see, big money idea here, maybe I can get a little percentage, is us versus them, Continental versus USWA. That would be a show, man. And, like, we're both selling here in town. Like, we're both doing great. And that would be really cool. And especially because, like, we got so many dudes who are working with, AEW or going from here to the big companies that I think the fans are really getting that $12 worth, So,
would you like to see AEW versus WWE at one point?
A Forbidden Door.
Forbidden Door. That's the ultimate Forbidden Door. Literally.
Of course, I would love to see the best competitors in this business be able to freely and openly wrestle anybody. But in what world is that going to really ever happen?
Hey, right now, the way the world's waking up, I mean,
Vince ain't there no more, so
talking about.
It's possibly. It's a possibility. The last time we seen Vince, he was partying with John Cena, and he had some drunk hoe like right next to him. So
person, and we all know Vince likes his women to bark like dogs. But Jamal, let me ask you this, and this is always a fun question.
Yeah.
Who is on your not the world's? Who's on your Mount Rushmore?
My Mount Rushmore, man. When I tell you number one, you're gonna be like, "What?" Jimmy Garvin is my favorite pro wrestler. Now, Sting is technically my childhood favorite wrestler, but then I really like Jimmy Garvin from the '80s. There's something about his comedic style with him, and he would have that Jerry curl and that sequined cut off. I've been him for Halloween at times. That he was just the absurdity and comedy that I really enjoy out of wrestling. And then after that, it's like, so Sting, Jimmy Garvin. Then after that, my personal favorite, Tiger Jeet Singh. And then
was that shade? Was that Paul shade?
I want to say Cody Rhodes and QT Marshall, because whoever helps me get paid
get that check.
If it's Dr. Tom, whoever. Kane, yeah. No, now, I always liked the characters that were more, like, iconic. So, Sting, Undertaker, Kane, like, Mankind. But, like, that, when it comes to, like, technical wrestling, you can break this down in so many different ways. Yes. When it came to, like, technical wrestling, then it's Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels and, like, those guys. Those who were Ricky Steamboat. They make us watch all those people. Whenever you go to any wrestling school or anything like that, they're going to make you watch Bret Hart. They're going to make you watch those guys. So there's that category too. But, man, if I really got to answer that question. And then after that, it's Ultimate Warrior, just because I love that physique that he had. And then the fifth spot, I like The Rock, man. You know, but The Rock is number one because the impact that he has made on this planet. You know, but that's not really a Mount Rushmore situation.
So do you think that The Rock? No. So, not talking about the movie, not talking about Hollywood Rock. Do
Yeah.
you think that The Rock was a bigger superstar than Austin?
Do I think that The Rock was a bigger superstar
Than Austin?
Hold on, I didn't hear that last part.
Than Austin, Stone Cold.
Than Austin? Oh,
That's hard.
that's hard. I think they hit different demographics, you know?
They did. He's
know.
not lying.
I know my country folks love Steve Austin, you know? And then, that's another thing. Rock had that comedy. Stone Cold, he was funny too, but he was always a little more serious.
Mm-hmm.
I love them both. Here's another thing, though. During that time when they were really going at it, I was watching WCW Nitro, and we didn't have the VCR back then. And during the Monday Wars,
had to flip back and forth.
I had to go back and watch a lot of the Attitude Era, like those matches, because I was over there watching Nitro and Thursday Night Thunder.
Yeah, we didn't have DVRs back then.
So let me ask you this: did you catch Dynamite last night?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Are we really gonna talk about this right now?
Yes, we are. What was your first reaction with the Punk and Moxley match?
Out of all the fucking things you could ask this man,
I want to know
this shit up.
Yeah, I want to know because this is what's burning the streets. What was your first initial reaction?
I think they were going for straight realism. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they were almost trying to make it feel like a UFC fight or something you would see in that business. I crossed over. And then I'm thinking, I mean, I can predict stuff. I don't want to, but they're going to run it back. But yeah, when they were leaving and the way that injury, I was like, man, this is like, they're trying to make it look like Anderson Silva in there, you know?
Okay. And then now here's my follow-up, all right? And then with this follow-up question, we're gonna walk into your dark debut. All right?
Yes, sir.
MJF's pipe bomb. How realistic do you think that was?
What MJF's? Hold on. Which one?
MJF's pipe bomb.
On Dynamite last night?
Yes. No. MJF. When MJF went in, and got on the mic and just dropped this big pipe bomb about how he felt, how other wrestlers been treated compared to ex-WWE guys. How realistic was that pipe bomb to you? And then, with your debut in Dark, did those words register to you at all, or did that have any type of like a background noise to you?
And I love MJF, and I think he, when it comes to kayfabe and living the gimmick, right now nobody is living that heel gimmick more than him. And the thing about living the heel gimmick is it can be kind of stressful, especially I don't fully do it online because I've read studies that people people who are making a living in their career, but for indie wrestlers being heels online, it's not good for their mental health and stuff. I just read an article about that last week. And so this guy is constantly imagine a fan comes up to you and asks for your autograph, and you gotta tell him, get the hell out of here. I'm not signing that, you know. It's hard for me to do, you know. I have kids come up to me, and I have to do it, you know. And I'm like, man, it's not easy. And so I would like to say that I watch all pro wrestling all the time. Unfortunately, that is not the case. I did not catch the whole pipe drop thing.
Okay.
Is there a lot of wrestling? Because you're not the only wrestler that I've heard that from. So is this a preference, a choice, or is this just you don't have any time to be,
That's just,
watch?
it gets down to watching tape now. It's no longer us watching it to enjoy, unfortunately. Which is not unfortunate. It's just a change in the way you view it. So I'm training 5-6 hours a day. I got my other jobs. I gotta, try to live my life. At the end of the day, I have to watch wrestling that's gonna help me. And the way I do that is I watch it half and half. I watch half my favorite wrestling from the 80s, 90s, try to reinvent stuff, reboot stuff. Then the other half is NXT, AEW Dark, the places I'm trying to go. And so I was watching Dark way more than I was watching Dynamite even, because I've been so focused on trying to get on Dark, if that makes any sense. So it wasn't even ignoring the product. I was just watching the product that I was trying to get onto so much that time for that sometimes. And so it's not like, oh, I don't want to watch it. Or sometimes I joke as a heel, I'm like, I don't even watch pro wrestling. This is stupid, man. Stuff like that. You know what I mean? But that's all just part of the gimmick. But no, if I ever miss stuff, I will go back now and watch that after this. But
yeah, watch that pipe bomb.
I think that guy is talented as heck, man, and AEW knows what they're doing. That's one thing. I think both these companies know what they're doing, but AEW is real fresh right now, WWE is respectful, they're all great.
So, there is a lot of controversy that's going on in AEW. You do not have to answer this question if you don't want to, but you are free to. Should we not? Okay, if you had a message to the fans about how they are bashing AEW, how they are bashing Tony Khan, how they're saying, oh, well, I hear this from the dirt sheets and I'm going to take this as gospel. So, there's been the dirt sheets has been saying that there's a lot of drama behind closed doors with AEW. Do you feel that as fans that we really need to shut the fuck up and stop listening to the dirt sheets?
Man, I think however you want to view it, go ahead. Who am I to tell you? But yes, we have seen this tendency where the fans, they want to know inside details. Like right now, we're completely out of kayfabe. I told Chris I'm not gonna break kayfabe too much. But the cat out of the bag. Sorry, Chris, I love you, but that's the thing. So these guys, they love something so much, but they want to pick stuff apart, and I feel like it's almost kind of a hipster attitude, remember people back in the day would kind of be music snobs and they'd be like, but they know all about it. And it's almost something similar to that. Or the Game of Thrones fans might not like the last season or whatever, but they bought every DVD and everything, So if that's how they want to view it, great.
But don't you feel kind of disrespected though when someone has never ever took a bump? Not to cut you off, but what I don't understand is because as podcasters, me and T.O., we need to stay in our lane. When we ask you certain questions, even though T.O. is real cool with you, but then when we talk about your wrestling career, some fans they try to critique something that they have never ever experienced before. And they tried to say, just because I watch this on television, that I know everything about the wrestling business. So don't you feel some type of way when somebody try to come for you and try to say you can't wrestle, but then yet never took a bump in the ring?
Easier said than done. That's always the case. But from my experience, since starting now, I feel like there's always been 10%, 20% of people who quit this business because they got in there for 1 or 2 training sessions and we're huffing and puffing and we're hurting. We're like, man, I am not an athlete. That's one thing. Like, to do what we do, even at, you know, some of the most basic levels, you have to be fit. You have to treat your body right. You got to have the right diet. I mean, there's big men, there's skinnier. We have room for every body type in this business now. That's what I love about the business now. But at the same time, you have to live the life of a professional athlete if you expect to become a professional athlete. These people do not. These people sit at home, and these people. So I don't entertain the notion too much, but yeah, definitely see the haters in pro wrestling, man. But hey, as long as the ratings are doing all right, tune in, man.
All right, let's go into your dark debut.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about that. What was the vibe walking into Universal? Walk us through that.
Ooh, man, it was mind blowing, bro. Ooh. All right, man. So I've done some cool things in pro wrestling up until this point, but staying at this motel and heading early in the morning on the shuttle to this place with a bunch of faces I've seen on TV, and then a few faces I know from the independent scene and school and the Nightmare Factory, stuff like that. My friend Tommy was there from Bear Boulder. Thank God. I was like, Tommy, what's good? I had somebody to talk to on the bus, you know. And but everybody was really friendly, man. And you notice the level of professionalism immediately is like leveled up. Even when you pull up into Universal Studios, I mean, before this, I was wrestling at high school gyms and churches and, you know, armories. But you roll up to Universal Studios, then they got like catering and stuff, like food besides like a hot dog and a slice of pizza. Like, even that to me was like huge difference. Then the production, you get back there, and the thing is, like, you hear all these things from other people before you go in, but you don't know how these people operate their business until you get there for sure. And then you see, and like, super professional, so many great people. Like, I don't get starstruck too often, man, but I met somebody, you know, there that I got pretty stoked over. But I think it was just like, it was probably the most proudest moment in my life that I've had, like even more so than graduating college, just because my family had flown out from Wyoming, my mom, my dad, to see me. Joel and a bunch of the cats from the Nightmare Factory, my boy Odin Davenport, where you can see him behind me in that picture. They're cheering me on. I'm the heel. They're supposed to boo me. I told them that. They're like, no, we got you.
I thought it was the other way around. I thought Dude was the heel and you were the face.
No. Maybe that's not a good thing. But that's not my I told them. But listen. But everybody else, I come out there doing the Drago heel stuff. But it didn't really matter because he's coming out there. He's a tough guy, and he's face. I believe, he's face, and Tony Nese is like, they're both they're just tougher faces. And I went in there, and I met Josh Woods, and the guy is super professional, man. Like, when they told me that was my first match, I was like, oh, wow, this guy is like made waves in the business. And I'm like, I see him there stretching on the floor, and I'm like, hey man, what's good? My name's Cobra, dude. I'm gonna be working this match with you. And he was like, good to meet you. And everybody was so cool, man.
And what was the feeling walking down that ramp Like, what was that? Hey, what did I feel like?
So still, we don't get walked down the ramp because when you debut on Dark, you get preloaded into the ring. So
Yeah.
you get walked out to the crowd by the ref, and you're in the ring, and then the signed contract, the talent, they walk down because we're enhancing them for the most part. It gets to the point where that line becomes blurred, and they have longer matches and stuff. But it was crazy just walking out there with the ref and just hearing that crowd and my family and friends and everybody. I just got goosebumps. And then I got in there, and you see their production, the lights, and the Trinitron, and I was like, man, I've done something with my career. Finally, I got something to show for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit.
So my next question is, this might be a little deep, but you know me, Jamal. I cut deep. In the ring, you know what I mean. I watch your matches. I watch a lot of your indie stuff, so you know I always give you the constructive criticism.
Yeah.
It looked like you were thinking more than moving. Was that a factor? Was it more nerves at that point?
That's always, something that we are constantly working on because we know what we got to do, but at the same time, I move more like that. And Joel is like, some people are more loose, but I'm focused when I get in there. And my thing is, I just want to make sure that everything is going good, as long as I look strong. And my thing is this too, like growing up, like I got flat feet, man. Like they always tell me, get on your toes and stuff. Like I've had to work real hard. I didn't grow up playing sports, man. So like my athleticism is on point and is getting better and better. But then also my ADD. Like I grew up with ADD, so you have to imagine how much you gotta remember and focus on. So that's constantly going through my brain too. But I mean, every match we do, it gets a little bit better, a little bit less of that, so a little more natural.
Okay.
All right, Chris.
So I guess my question to you is, because me and T.O. both watched your match. Is it normal to kind of like some wrestlers, like the way we seeing it, we're saying like, is the wrestler like second guessing himself? Because it's like sometimes we see a lot of botching, and we say that this is not ballet. So is it normal for a wrestler to like kind of second guess the moves? Because like I believe, from my understanding, from like what some of my wrestling friends have said in the business, that when you second guess the moves, or if you miss a move, you could injure your opponent. So do you have any fear of that sometimes?
Yeah, man. That is the biggest concern of all. Always, all the time, is you got to keep that person across from you safe. That is your job. Anything happens to him, that is on you. Mm-hmm. And there are times in this business, countless times, that we can name that people have blundered that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that time, that second guessing, the longer you do it, the more secure you get with it. Mm-hmm. But God is always there. But I mean, it goes away when you're in the ring, because then when that bell rings, you're too focused on worrying about that. But the whole time, everything we do, we've been trained to do it a certain way to keep people safe, man. And mm-hmm. I have never injured anybody, knock on wood. I have almost no injuries in this business. So.
Oh, you haven't sustained any injuries yet?
Not really. Nothing too bad. There was one time a month or two ago where I got concussed for the first time in my life, and
Ooh.
I've been I'm 35 years old, and grown men have tried to knock me out my whole life,
Oh wow.
and the first person to knock me out was, I'm not going to say, I'm not going to throw anybody on the bus, it was a good friend of mine, and it was in training, and it was because we were doing a move, we were doing a sit-down power bomb, and he has kind of lost his grip on it. He doesn't do this move a lot, and he was like, call out a move, and let's do it, and I told him to do this move, and we came down, and I think my lower back hit the mat a little bit too soon. It caused me to whiplash, and the back of my head hit those wooden planks and that rubber mat, not that trampoline, and I was out for 20 seconds. And, it's during training, and people are like, Cobra, are you okay? Can you see how many fingers I'm holding up? And they're like, do you know where you're at right now? And I'm at our training facility, Continentals, and right behind them, it's painted on the walls in big letters, Top Rope Wrestling Academy. And they're like, Cobra, do you know where you're at? And I was like, Top Rope Wrestling Academy. They're like, yeah, get him, put ice on his head. But I was fine, we kept me out of doing any bumps for 2 weeks, or really like 19 days, because like my family, the doctors and the family, they were super concerned, even though I was fine. My brother is like, hey, if you don't hit the gym too hard, wait, because if you don't, there can be neurological complications later on, and I have to listen to those wise men, and I'm not going to argue too much with you, like, I stay out of the ring just 2 weeks, even though I don't want to sound lazy. But if that's just right thing to do, which it was, and then I came back and I was fine. But that was the only time I was injured, and so luckily that's nothing, But it was one of my best friends who knocked me out for the first time in my life, by accident, not a street fight, not a bouncer brawl.
You didn't intend to try to get that receipt, I mean, bro, you can cuss me,
Oh, not me. I feel like the receipt is a bitch way, honestly, of kind of looking at it, because like I can take anything. But if you fuck me up, all right. If you hit me too hard in the same spot, good. I want that to hurt. Then I know it's real. Then I know that crowd is going to be like, But it's all about why would I want to ever cause? I know that what he did was a mistake. It's not intentional. So now I'm going to like try to compromise their safety in any way or inflict pain even. No, they know immediately when they're like, oh fuck, because that's how.
So basically,
that scared. We're very cautious. We're very concerned of keeping no injuries on our record, And it's gonna happen no matter what, especially because you got to push yourself more and more. And so I feel like the more you go on in time, it's possible it's happening even more. So that's the way it goes.
So
and
basically,
it's for me.
So basically, it's not going to be like the Rumble with Braun Strowman and Brock when Strowman hit him that knee and Brock just slow down.
That was so fucked up.
He was angry. I'm too chill for that, man. He was angry, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not chill in that ring, but that's
Braun Strowman said he deserved it.
Those are two grown men there, and that's between them. I'm not talking shit about them.
Yeah.
There's no bitch thing with that there. I just feel like let me absorb the pain. Unless it was even if it was intentional, I would just backstage. I'd just be like, "Yo, what the fuck, man?" Or I'd just call him,
All right.
that don't happen with with me, man. I think we're just too professional. We're just too chill. We're just a bunch of cool cats, man. That is the one thing I love about pro wrestling. Like, when I was a little kid, I went and did middle school football, and I quit after like 2 months because it was competitive, and I didn't have this body back then at 12 years old, believe it or not, and I sucked. And you had to be better than everybody across from you, and you had to defeat those people on that team. You had to defeat them.
Mm-hmm.
So there was that competitiveness. And I didn't like that competitiveness. I tried it again in track. I did a little better in track, middle school track once again. But then I quit that too because of that competitiveness. But then I got into pro wrestling, and it was like, okay, you and that guy across the ring, you're enemies, but really you're working together to put on this performance, and you gotta both do good. I don't have to defeat that guy. I gotta make him look good. I gotta do all these things, and if I fuck up, we both look stupid, and vice versa.
Right.
And no other sport is like that at all. And so if pro wrestling didn't exist, like, I wouldn't be doing nothing, I don't think, physical. I'd probably just open up a gym somewhere, you know, or figure something out.
When you talked about the psychology of wrestling, and Dr. Marshall, you say he focused on psychology. We noticed in the indies, they're looking, like, you see a lot of wrestlers in indies looking for like hot spot, and they're not given time to breathe, time to tell the story. How do, with your wrestling style and the style that you're trying to develop, how does that work when other wrestlers, either matches before you, after you, and you see spot, and there's no time to breathe? Where does that psychological aspect hit, like, for you?
It's rough, man, because those guys are the guys who didn't have the formal training on the indies, who are watching on TV and just trying their best. And I don't even blame them, but like, and then on top of that, they only get so many minutes out in front of a crowd, so they feel like they got to impress, you know, and they got to take care of things quick. But these are the guys who weren't trained by solid workers in the business, and I've seen that a lot too. I've also seen guys like that go on to find better methods of teaching and absorb and then still make it, you know. But it's tough when you got to deal with somebody who doesn't get the psychology, wants to do spot to spot, and also wants to get more spots in on you when, like, and doesn't see it's almost kind of delusional. Like, I've done matches where guys like 40 pounds lighter than me, kind of, you know, not working out so much, and like, he wants to give me 4 German suplexes in the planning, and I'm like, no, like, you can German suplex. You want to make a fool out of the audience, man. You know what I mean? And like, and then that's their ego wanting to look better in front of all these people. But what they don't know is that if they make me look good, they're going to look even better. And it's that psychology they don't understand. There's too many people that are afraid to look bad. Instead, like, man, my best friend and arch enemy, Bryce Maddox, that man has learned the art of selling, and like, he's the champion. That is a tough, badass, mean motherfucker, man. But when he's out there in that ring, he's getting beat up for like 10, 15 minutes until he pulls things around, and that's the way it's supposed to be. But a lot of the indie guys, they don't understand that, and they think it's high spot to high spot. They don't know how to tell a story. If you're not sitting back listening to that crowd and getting them involved, you're going to lose them, man. You can do a million backflips. You can do, you know, whatever. But if you can't tell a story, you're wasting people's time. And that's something you see a lot on the indies. But at the same time, you also see guys on the indies who start off like that and then they learn and they turn it around, and it's never too late. In this business, man, I always say, if you keep coming back, sky's the limit, man. You know, that is the number one thing. I always tell it. Just keep coming back. People ask me, how did I get to where I got? I just kept coming back. So many people get discouraged over time because they feel like they're not going to make it, or there's emotional situations in their life. But I really believe if you just keep coming back, you got a shot.
Okay. Cool.
All right, Chris.
What was the question I had? Oh, yes. You will be going overseas, I believe, in September. No, October 1st.
October 1st. Yes, sir. Zaragoza, Spain.
Yeah, tell us some more about that.
I'm super excited about that, man. Another great thing about the Nightmare Factory is the networking you get when you go up there. I met this wrestler up there. His name is Big CA. I call him affectionately the Spaniard. I think that's a cool sounding name. I think it sounds like a Scorsese movie or something, you know? But he's a great wrestler out there, and he also owns a promotion in Zaragoza.
Oh.
And the way they run it is like it's a half pro boxing show for the first part, and then after is pro wrestling. And they got some of Europe's like best talent up there. I believe Jordan Saeed is going to be on that card. And they got good production, and like I've never been to Europe, man. This has been a dream of mine. This has been on the bucket list. I always said I wanted to wrestle in 3 countries overseas. I wanted to wrestle in Spain, Italy, and then Japan. And I get to cross one of them off. We're trying to get Bryce Maddox on the card up there if he can get off work, which he should definitely get off work. He just started. That dude has a master's degree, man. He works as a physical therapist. He just got a great new job, so it's like,
that's what's
you know, I understand if he can't make it, but I'm still going up there on my own, and I'm flying into Barcelona. And apparently the country is about the size of Texas, so you can get anywhere on a high-speed train in 3 hours, like across the country.
That's awesome.
That is cool. That is cool, bro. That's so cool.
AWC Wrestling. Let me get that plug in. Carlos.
Say that again for the for security purposes and training purposes.
Yes, sir.
Look at that.
AWC Wrestling. I don't know. AWC. Hear it?
Yeah, I just heard it. Yeah, I just heard it.
All right, so this is a 2-part question. All right, 2-part question. Top 3 wrestlers that you want to wrestle on the big stage.
Man, I want to keep it humble and realistic right now because
your dream matches, your dream wrestlers that are alive and on roster right now. In any promotion, any big promotion right now.
All right, so if that's the case, then number 1 is my boy Jake Tucker, Shannon Lauren, who's on NXT right now in the WWE. He rolls with the Italian gimmick right now, and he's been over there. He's one of the first guys on the indie scene I know that got a contract with WWE, and I don't want to talk about, said we wouldn't talk about contracts, nothing like that. But he got in over there, man, and we were just so proud of him, man. He was from JPWA too, Dr. Tom. We had wrestled with him in Tennessee, me and Joel, and his tag team partner Cam, and they on the indies they were called the Brothers of Seduction because they were trained by Kane, so they were trying to have instead of the Brothers of Destruction, they were the Brothers.
He was trained by Kane.
He was trained by Kane and Dr. Tom Pritchard at JPWA. And then he did well over there, and he wrestled for Coastal, the other CCW, Coastal Championship Wrestling. They're down a little further south in the state. And then he was on Dark a couple times, I believe. Definitely once or twice, and then he went into the NXT. And then there's another girl from JPWA who recently got into the WWE too. I don't want to get too off topic, but Ivy Nile. I don't know if you know Ivy.
Never heard of her.
But so I would like to wrestle Channing Lauren first, and then after that, I would like to wrestle Chris Jericho. I mean, that would be crazy, man. You know, I love
the champion.
Lionheart.
Yes.
The demigod. The sports entertainer.
What he did with Daniel Garcia, and Daniel Bryan on the mic the other day, it was like pure brilliance, man. That hits every corner for me. That's the absurdity and comedy I love. That Chris Jericho can just nail it, but he also has that intensity that pro wrestling needs, you know? It reminds me of, I'm a big fan of the movie MacGruber. Jericho is in MacGruber. And now they got a show. I feel like they need to bring him back for that show because they'll kill it. But, okay, so then Jericho, then the third one. I'm a big Luchasaurus fan, man.
Dragon Zord in battle mode?
He said Dragon Sword in battle mode.
Okay,
why you keep taking my shit?
Okay, so now here's part 2, all right? Yeah. What would be each match? So if you could pick the stipulation in each match of those 3 matches, what would they be?
If I could pick the what?
Stipulation in those matches.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay, so I would like to do a singles match classic with Channing Lauren. I would like to do a street fight with Jericho, and then some wild, maybe tables, TLC, something with Luchasaurus.
The Dragon Zord in battle mode. Jesus Christ. All right, Chris, what you got for us?
Versus the dinosaur, man. That's people need to see.
Let me see.
I got a mask that he made originally when I first was starting out, but it's like a Cobra mask, and I haven't finished it, but it kind of looks a little bit like Luchasaurus's mask. So I always, you don't want to step on any toes when it comes to guys like that in this business, people who are established. But I would like to show you maybe another time.
You actually got a Cobra mask?
I do. Actually, let me grab it real quick. Is that right?
Yeah.
I would love to see it.
Let's see it.
I would love to see it.
That's crazy.
It's a dope interview. I'm not going to even lie to you. This is really, really, I am so glad I decided to say, Chris, stop being lazy. Go ahead and do this goddamn interview, man. Like, this is really, 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 really.
It's insightful.
Yes, very. And for the people,
wow. Put it on. You got to put it on. Put it on.
Put it on. Put it on. Oh, that is dope.
Dude, that is dope.
Oh, shit.
Dude, that is sick.
Okay, you and Luchasaurus should Luchasaurus in battle mode. Y'all should Dragon Sword in battle mode.
Mask versus mask match.
Yes.
Let's go.
That is dope.
It almost looks like a combination of Luchasaurus and Evil Uno's mask.
Very much so.
Like
Very
both
much
of them.
so.
I wanted to add, I don't feel like it's done yet. I feel like to make it look like a Cobra, it should have some long, snaky type things off of it.
Like some green added to it.
Yeah, like something that would slow down, kind of like the demon. That was kind of, I need to get that part finished. But I had this done. It wasn't cheap. This is a solid silicone mask, and it was made from a studio in Hollywood that makes these for movies, actually.
What?
Wow, that is insane.
Oh, that is dope. I swear. Oh,
I wore this mask one time, and it was in a hardcore match versus Bryce Maddox at Dory Funk's place in Ocala. And during that match, he set me on fire. He even hit me with a fireball, bro. Like, it's on my IG to bring that up. Like, I've seen some fireballs lately, and no offense. Fireball that I got hit with, it hits me. I'm running towards it. It hits me in the chest, like the abdomen. You can see it go up my chest. And at the time I had long hair, you could see it light my hair on fire because there's smoke. And my hair literally got all singed off. I cut my hair after that.
You had a Michael Jackson type of scenario. You know, that.
Put me out, Tito. Tito, put me out.
I had some burns for a while. It was rough. After that match, that was a weird match to me because I never had a feeling like that. Like, things went well. There was maybe one or two things I could have done better. But like, just getting home in the shower, watching my melted hair go down the drain, I was like, man.
I remember your promo that you cut after that. I remember that promo that you cut after that.
Speaking of which, so kind of rewinding back to your AEW Dark debut, are there some things that you wish you did differently in that match?
I wish I would have jumped a little bit higher on the leapfrog, but I mean, we did what we had to do during that spot. I had never taken that move. I also I could have tapped a little bit sooner, I think, just a tiny bit, but that's kind of nitpicking, you know. It's a simple. It was a match that was simple, but like it played a little story. Another thing I noticed, maybe with like when I throw my back elbows, I need to extend it a little bit more, like really over exaggerate. If they get hit, they get hit. They know it's the way to look, you know. Sometimes that's me. Usually the times when I'm not like as on point, it's because I'm worried about keeping the other person safe when it's time to like let go of that part, you know. So I think maybe I could extend the back elbows a little bit more, and that's something I'll do in my next match. The thing is, once I see these things these days, like, and the next match, we're gonna fix it. It's not gonna continue. So, but they like my match. I think people enjoyed it. You know, I think Woods is happy. Everybody. I don't want to break too much kayfabe, man.
I love
don't want to run it back, you know.
I love the fact that you're still mentioning kayfabe because it is a lost teaching. It's hieroglyphics.
Even just saying the word in itself is breaking kayfabe. That's what I always get. Like,
you're right.
Don't break kayfabe. Well, they're gonna Google what that word means, and now what's the point? So you have to.
First rule of Fight Club.
Yeah.
First rule of Fight Club: we don't talk about Fight Club. Second rule: we don't talk about Fight Club. All right. All right,
this
Chris.
is the interview that I've actually fully broke kayfabe. Even with news reports and with everything we do at Continental, we do some interviews that are more behind the scenes, but they're still ultimately bottom line. We don't use a lot of terminology. That's what really kind of makes it when people hear us say who's going over and like taking a bunch of bumps and like taking it to the ground, working the outside, stuff like that. The marks know this stuff, and then that side of them lights up. But if we don't use any of those words and say, hey, when we were beating each other outside of the ring, you know, just put things in a term like that, when I won that match instead of saying I went over, those are ways to keep that we do those interviews that are like they maintain kayfabe and like borderline real I think that's a fine art too. So those are things that to work on as well.
Okay. So, everyone, it is 10:11 Central Time, 11:11 Eastern Time. So, once again, this has been an inspirational interview. Hopefully you have fun. I know I have fun. T.O. have fun. You are definitely you are a wrestler with a whole tons of potential. Like, just in talking with you, very humble, and we don't see a lot of wrestlers like you in the business like that. That's like humble, It's like, oh well, yeah, I know my shit, and fuck you, that type of shit. So, and we do appreciate you, even though we had to reschedule a couple times. But I was just like, you know what, fuck this. I'm going to do this shit for him. It was well worth it, most definitely. So I'm glad that I came on here to talk with you and go over your career and what you've been doing so far. But we definitely want to revisit this maybe in about 6 months or so, like, whenever you get some time and see how you're doing, how you're progressing in your career. So if you do want to come back, we can definitely do that.
I'm still waiting for my Cobra shirt. I'm waiting for the
yes.
Cobra shirt.
Any merch you come out with, I need that. So I need that. No, my nipples can't fit into that bitch. So you have to give me a 5X. No, I just need to lose weight. But no, where can they find you? I did put your social media down below, so it has been going screaming across. But where can they find you? Anywhere, like outside of Twitter and whatever, where they can find you?
Facebook, Cobra Singh, IG, the Cobra Singh, YouTube, CCW Wrestling, Continental Championship Wrestling's channel, AEW Dark.
Okay.
And then if you look, I do have a YouTube channel myself. It's a lot of video game clips, and then it's also matches, like earlier matches and like earlier clips of me training and stuff like that. So
cool. So before we leave, we're gonna do this as a final thought so we can promote your match this coming Saturday. So we do have a video. So before we break out, let's kind of go around for final thoughts. So T.O., anything that you want to ask Mr. Jamal?
No, I just want to say, dude, I'm proud of you, man.
Hey, man.
No, seriously, like from our core circle, and to see a lot of us, break out and do things that we have passion for, and just, getting them help out of this city, out of this town. But just honestly, man, like I can speak for a lot of us. Adrian, all of our good friends, man. Just we're proud of you and we're pulling for you, man. Just keep it up, man.
Ain't nowhere but up for us, all of us.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man.
So, let's play your video for this Saturday, and we'll be right back.
Folks, August 27th, CCW, Jacksonville, Florida. Wrestle Bash, Big Trouble makes his return to Duval County. Now, last time I graced Duval with my presence, I was at Daly's place, and there were people hanging from the rafters watching old Big Trouble do his thing in the middle of that wrestling ring. And come August 27th, it don't matter who's up against old Big Trouble, because they better run up that hill and make a deal with God, because Big Trouble is going to leave them broke, busted, disgusted in the middle of that wrestling ring. And that's all I got to say for now. So until then, folks, you better get ready, because here comes trouble.
Taking advantage of our open door policy, Big Ben Bishop has signed his name on the dotted line and will be in action at WrestleBash 31. The only question was, who would face Big Ben Bishop? That answer right here.
Big Ben Bishop, Cobra Singh here. We've met each other a few times, seen each other on the independent scene. You've worked for some of the biggest companies. You're 7 feet tall, you're powerful. I'll give you all that. But all of that means jack squat now, because you're coming to Continental Championship Wrestling. This is my stomping grounds. I only have one loss here in the company, and I avenged that loss just recently. And that guy's 6'5". So height, strength, all that stuff, it means nothing now. August 27th, Wrestle Bash. You're going down, and you're going down hard.
Wow, those are probably two of the biggest superstars that I've seen here in CCW. I can't wait to see them lock horns and put it together.
Let's fucking go!
Let's go.
Let's go!
Yeah, everybody. August 25th, Wrestle Bass in
27.
August 27th. Wrestling Bash. I wish I was down there though, and I love Jacksonville too. I've been to Jacksonville twice. I need to come back down there. Most definitely.
Yeah,
but yes. Did you not see my complexion?
You're a little
I don't
pasty.
need another tan. No,
You're a little pasty.
No, that's you. You're in Wyoming. You need that goddamn tan. You need to find out who you are. But anyway, but yes. But yeah, Jamal, thank you so much for coming on here once again. Anything that you need from us, if you need to be promoted or anything that you need to talk about, you are more than welcome to come back to us. Yes, we are here for you. We can definitely just use us as a source, or anything that you need, just come back, let us know. So that's nothing.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you guys having me on. Maybe another time you might want to have me or one of the other guys here down.
Yes,
most definitely.
Talk to them. Let us know that. Yeah, we would love that.
Sure.
Yeah,
So,
if they want any interviews or whatever, just revert them to us, and definitely we'll sit down and we'll talk to them.
All right.
So everybody, thank you so much for participating in this #Kills for Life latest episode 190. We will be back this Sunday to talk about the shenanigans this past Wednesday, Monday, and Friday coming up. So until that time, I'm your host, Mr. Team Bring It.
And I am DJ Red Flags the Hill. You love to hate.
And who are you down there?
Cobra Singh. Take it easy, guys.
Thank you, man.
See you guys Sunday. Peace, everybody.